Hello, today's date is the 18th of February 2021. Just making this very quick update. Yeah, it's been quite a lousy start to 2021. I had the COVID vaccine at the beginning of January, 6th of January, and I must be the most unluckiest person on the planet because 4 days later I tested positive for COVID. Um, as a result of that, became quite unwell, developed a horrific cough, really bad cough, really violent sneezing, and with the violent sneezing I started to feel pain down my left leg, and then I started to bleed again and bleed again quite badly after all this time, really bad. As a result of that, I ended up going into hospital to actually have my hemorrhoids banded, and the colorectal surgeon said they weren't actually that bad, my hemorrhoids, which kind of shows really this is all muscular tension that's causing this. The piles are just a byproduct of the tension, in the same way I believe the anal fissure is as a result of the byproduct of the tension, and then there's an initial insult and the body just can't cope with it because it's so dysfunctional. Luckily, as soon as the COVID calmed down, it's quite a nasty virus. I mean, I've lost my auntie to it, my great auntie, I should say. He was 92. I've lost my uncle to the COVID. He was 68. My dad is still off work long term. He's been off work for 4 months now as a result of COVID. My brother's had COVID as well. And it does knock you for six, it literally knocks you for six. Every time you think you're getting better, it just hits you down again. I mean, I couldn't even sleep at night lying down because I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was having to sleep in a chair. It took weeks just to get enough energy even to try and commence any exercises. But luckily the bleeding did stop once it calmed down, and I've had the hemorrhoids banded. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm still trying to chip away at this. I have recently made quite a big discovery in my body as well, because I started to get some back pain from my right side, and I know it's coming from the QL muscle, which is a very deep muscle that attaches to the spine, and my right QL muscle is so tight compared to my left, and the left glute, even though it's stronger, still remains quite inhibited. And what I've discovered is that when you walk, the left glute medius activates, and the right QL muscle activates, and the left adductor activates. But because the right muscle, QL muscle, is so tight, the pelvis actually shifts towards that weak glute. So it's almost causing a lateral tilt, and that puts pressure, on the spine, and I believe it also affects the pelvic floor as well. So at the moment, I'm trying to address that tight QL muscle. Yeah, I mean, some DCT doesn't really address that particular muscle, so it's a work in progress. I'm also doing a lot of trigger point work as well, because as I've explained previously, I have a lot of pain in my feet, and the other day I was experimenting just pressing on my peroneal muscle that runs from the side of the knee, and I actually felt an horrific pain in my toe, really bad, just pressing on that point. It's all referred, this, all the pain is referred, and it's trying to work it out. But the lifestyle, the sitting down, the driving, I mean, I'm now actually going to change jobs, so I'm going to be on my feet, because I've had after 7.5 years of sitting down driving, I've learned now how damaging that is to the body. It's so not natural. You look at primitive tribes, the Malay tribe in Africa, and they can jump higher than I could jump even on a bloody trampoline with no bloody shoes on their feet. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a quick update, really. So the moral of the story is try and avoid getting COVID, especially if you've got hemorrhoids and a pelvic floor dysfunction, because yeah, it's a nasty virus. It really is. Okay then. Thank you. Bye.